All right, it is pre-patch day for a major event in World of Warcraft, and you know what that means? We wait because things are broken and it's taking a long time to fix. This was something that was going to be expected with the new expansion, mostly because we are seeing a lot of really big core changes to the World of Warcraft that we know. So with the War Within, we're going to be getting a lot new features, some updates to UI and things of that nature. So without a doubt, this is going to be one of the bigger patch days that we've had in quite some time. But with that, if you're anything like I am, you want to know what's going on. So today, we're going to discuss that. We're going to go through the patch notes and see what's new, what's changed, and who got nerfed. So sit back, relax, and let's go through the patch notes because it's World of Warcraft Patch Tuesday. All right. Well. Welcome everybody to the stream. Welcome. It is officially patch day for the War Within. As you can see, we have this lovely new login screen that unfortunately we can't go any further than this. And the reason being is the realms are still down for maintenance. So, what does that leave us to do today? Well, I for one thoroughly want to start delving into the pre-patch and seeing what that has to offer. But we're gonna have to wait a little bit because it looks like it's not gonna be live till 5 p.m. Central. So we've got a ways to wait. However, we still have a lot to talk about. So let's chat a little bit about the pre-patch. So Blizzard has announced that big changes arrive into the introduction of warbands, skywriting, class and system updates, and more with the pre-patch content update, which is everything that we are experiencing here today. Some of it seems like it will be rolled out through the pre-patch, with the event starting today, and then going in through the 26th, and then into launch for August 26th. So the Radiant Echoes is what they're calling the pre-patch expansion event. This is where, if any of you are familiar with any type of World of Warcraft game, that the pre-patch events are actually quite fun. They're very contextual to ending the current expansion and rolling into the newest expansion. My fondest ones being, obviously, like, coming into Legion pre-patch, you had all of these different places within, your normal leveling areas in Azeroth that were getting invaded by, like the Legion forces. And so you'd be leveling an alt in Wetlands or in Westfall, and then these giant portals would pop out with, all of these, properly leveled and sized elites, and you'd have to gang up, and it was just a massive event. It's also a great way to catch up or level alts during this period, as well as just kind of enjoying the little bits of information that you get about the new expansion through these quests. And so it sounds like there's going to be rotating events that cycle between a few different zones, and then there'll be portals for you to be able to take. So the item level is 480, which currently is it puts it just above a fully a fully tweaked out set of veteran gear, which I think tops out at 476. So it gives you a decent amount of item level items. You're going to be getting a 32 slot bag, a regent bag, mounts, pets, a new heirloom ring. So that's one of the things that they announced earlier, is that you're going to be getting a new heirloom ring for this. And again, for those of you that are leveling alts, this is going to be the perfect time to do that. The next thing is that we are getting our warbands. Now, I don't know exactly how much we're going to be able to do with this, but you'll be able to see like all of these different things happening within the War Within. And so it's one of those nice quality of life things, especially for me. Like, it's always a pain in the butt to just kind of have to do the grind of getting your faction experience or your renown levels or whatever other type of leveling system that's in place. That seems, it always seems a bit arbitrary that you have to do it over and over and over again. And so with the warband account, that should be somewhat eliminated, because you're going to have shared renown, shared achievements and collections, and then you'll be able to get those for anybody that's on your account. And next is skywriting. So this is huge, and we've already seen this a little bit in the starting capital cities, where you're able to ride dragon flying mounts. Dragon flying is now being called skywriting when you're in when you're outside of the dragon mount or the dragon isles. The differences being is that you'll be able to toggle between skywriting and the original flight style. And so skywriting will be, dragonfly riding will be renamed to skywriting. You will now learn it at level 10, and then you'll be able to switch flight style. So those are kind of like the two biggest key features, other than that being something that you can get now throughout the entirety of Azeroth, which is awesome. The expert riding and flying, that's also going to be increasing your speeds, things like that. So you'll now be able to do that. The biggest thing that I'm actually excited for is all the druids out there. You'll be able to skyride in druid form now, which is great. I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to look like. Visions of Azeroth. So strange visions are calling heroes of Azeroth. Players who have reached level 70 and have completed the final chapter of Dragonflight questline will be called to take their next steps into the story leading within the War Within for the first part of the Visions of Azeroth questline. So be on the lookout for that. There's, these quest lines that happen during pre-patch are really just introductory quests. They introduce you to bits and pieces of the story to come from the next expansion. So they're not going to give you this mind-blowing, 20-part questline series that unlocks a whole bunch of stuff. Really, it's just to give you a little bit of taste of the next expansion, and then also give you that little bit of flavor for what you're going to be experiencing in the next expansion. So, character updates. Dragonflight content is now the default level experience for 10 to 70. It was Battle for Azeroth. That's something that we all expected to happen. And to be perfectly honest, I think leveling in Dragonflight would be a way better experience for newcomers anyways, just because it will give you kind of a feel for a sense of what the current game systems feel and look like. If you were to do like Kata or even like, I mean, so you could do like Warlords of Draenor and experience things that are really um you know, put aside and never looked at again, like garrisons. If you really wanted to go through that, you could. But if you want like a very smooth playable experience, just do Dragonflight. It's really good. I'd recommend going through that. Guild Cross Realm Guild Bank functionality is available, so that makes it really awesome. Honestly, just because there are so many people, especially now, like for people like me that have been playing World of Warcraft for I hate to say this, 20 years. You've made friendships across a number of different realms, and I've met so many people playing this game and have had to start characters on several different types of servers just so that I could play with my friends. um Having the ability to be able to be cross realm on nearly everything in the game is huge. That's a big step forward in just personal play experience as this game goes into its 30th year. I mean, can you imagine? um it's one of those things where I think that been a long time coming, and I'm glad that it's here. The new human racial, no place like home. Your Hearthstone cooldown is reduced by 5 minutes and gains an additional charge. While this is cool, I guess, um, it completely removes any sort of like viability for human racials in the context of playing the game. Having a an extra hearth on your Hearthstone and it being 10 minutes now instead of 15 minutes when you're in a guild because you have the hasty hearth, um it it seems like a huge nerf to humans, especially when you have people like the orc racials where they're still stun resistant, they still have the buff for damage. There's so many other racials that give some added benefit while you're playing the game. I don't see Hearthstone cooldown as a benefit. It's more of just like hey, here's something. It almost feels like, you know what this feels like? It feels like they couldn't think of anything else to give that wasn't similar to what's already been created. And so they just said, well, let's just give them an extra hearth. The other thing too, that diplomacy has been removed, which I always enjoyed having as a human character, just because reputation gains are just it's such a grind, honestly. So huge nerf to humans, which sucks. I like playing human characters. I will now be sticking to orcs and Kultirians because that matches the Papi vibe. The character restoration service is temporarily unavailable. Understandable because we are going through a major patch and an expansion. Paid character transfers disabled. Understandable. The level 60 character boost provides items to 327 gear. Understandable. That seems like, a viable place to start when you just hit a fresh 60. Let's see, classes. Here we go. This is the meat and potatoes of all this stuff here. So talent loadouts that can be saved on a character have been increased to 40. Holy shit. That's huge. 40. Okay. Talents that increase melee range have been removed. Boo! I primarily play a lot of melee characters, and that's always nice, just to be always in range. What this does mean, though, is that I feel like Blizzard's worried about mechanics, because if you're able to, as a tank, completely stay out of range of a certain mechanic that causes point blank AoE or anything like that, because of those talents, I could see why they would want to remove those, because part of being a melee character is having to dance in and out of that sort of damage that is point blank right next to the the mobs that you're fighting. Let's see here. Fear, sleep, silence, stun, and interrupt visual effects have been updated. Additionally, all movement and parrying effects greater than 50 will now display a universal slow visual on the target. I'm interested to see like what these visuals are going to look like, mostly because you know I've got to be honest, there's so much going on the screen that unless I'm fighting just one mob, I don't think I'll be able to tell. So it'll be interesting to see like how they're going to make that change happen. Reduce the percentage granted by avoidance and leech rating. I feel like that's not like this is a change that was just not necessary, I don't think. I could see them wanting to make leech and those types of effects not be as great because of other skills and abilities, but it seems to me like they're just nerfing it across the board just because it was so great for anybody that had that type of leech or avoidance. So as you can see, nearly every single class had it. Ooh, rogues, leech poison, down 2%. Lichborn 3%. Well, that was off of a buff, but yeah, you can see that it's affecting everybody that has leech. All right, Death Knight. All talent trees have moved locations, or their pathing updated. Subduing grasp when you pull an enemy to the damage that they deal you is reduced by 6%. That's a pretty cool mechanic, I think, for Blood DK. And I wonder, it doesn't say have anything as far as like that being an effect on PvP, but if you're Blood DK, you're probably not PvPing as Blood. New talent, Osmosis. Anti-magic shell increases healing received by 15%. Interesting. New talent, Null Magic. Magic damage is reduced by 10% in the duration of harmful magic. Interesting. Okay, so I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't really remember anti-magic shell needing to be changed. I guess they wanted to give Death Knights another cooldown to use to help like mitigate things. Any extra healing received is kind of a bonus for a Death Knight. New talent, Vestigial Shell. Casting anti-magic shell grants 2 nearby allies a lesser anti-magic shell that absorbs magic damage and reduces the harmful magic effects against them. So this is kind of cool too, because for me, I'm going to talk a lot about tanking, because that's primarily my role in how I play. So for Blood DK, having an ability that affects other characters other than just your kind of like your splash healing that you have with like your AoE and just any type of like additional effect, if you're using like the rune that gives you increased splash healing for every time you use your rune heal. This is something that will grant extra damage mitigation to your allies, which is nice. Ice Prison, Chains of Ice now also roots enemies for 4 seconds. Yeah, I mean that's great. I don't see too much of a benefit for that unless you're PvPing. Runic Protection, your chance to be critically struck is reduced by 3% and your armor is okay, so this is huge. So other than pure like heal protection, and your bone shield, Death Knights really don't have any type of mitigation, and so having a crit reducer and an armor increase is always a bonus. Let's see, unyielding will, anti-magic shells. So a lot of this seems like it's going to give Death Knights so many more cooldowns. Chains of Ice, anti-magic shell, Rune of the Stonestone's gargoyle can now be rune forged on one-handed weapons. Abomination limb no longer grants bone shield. Runic. That's kind of a nerf to unholy. Rune of the Apocalypse. Damage taken increased by 4%, was 1%. Damage increased by pestilence. Famine effect. I'm not very familiar with Rune of the Apocalypse. Like I said, primarily I am Death Knight. Icebound Fortitude, cooldown reduced to 60 seconds. Great. That's one of the big cooldowns you use as a tank. Cleaving Strikes now also retains bonus effects for being within your death and decay. Great. Veteran of the Third War now grants 20% stamina. Now a 1-point talent. That's huge. That is amazing. To give 10% more health and half of the cost, I shall take it. So it seems to me like they're condensing some and then creating new on the other hand. Let's see, specifically for blood. Bone Collector, when you pull an enemy, generate 1 charge of Bone Shield. Great. Ossified Vitriol, when you lose a Bone Shield charge, the damage of your next Moral Rend. Great. That's up by 75%, or stacking to 75%. Carnage, Blood Drinker, and Consumption now contribute to your mastery. Blood Shield, each time an enemy strikes your Blood Shield, the cooldowns of Blood Drinker and Consumption have a chance to be reset. Interesting. Bloodied Blade pairing attacked grants you a charge of Bloodied Blade, increasing your strength by 4%. I mean, Death Knights already do like a heck of a lot of damage right now. This is going to be interesting to see like how that affects them on the damage meters right now. Crimson Scourge is earlier. Oh, that becomes an actual learned ability, not a talent. So Death Caress, learned ability. Yeah, so lots of changes are happening for all of these. Holy shit, Frost is getting a huge damage increase. Frost Strike increased, Obliterate increased, Howling Blast increased, Frost Fever, Remorseless Winter, Glacial Advantage, Frost Scythe. Well, it looks like Frost is going to be a contender for top DPS here. So take a look at all of these new talents. There's a lot of talents that are being remade. Some are being moved as so I expect that when we log in today for the first time, everything is going to be reset. Check your talent trees. there's going to be a lot of new changes. Demon Hunter. Wow, really nothing for Demon Hunter. That's interesting. So illuminated sigils now grant additional charge, only Sigil of Flame. Druids. All of their talent trees have had many new locations and things have been updated. Okay. So Moonkin form is now a learned ability. Swiftmend is now a learned ability. Improved Swipe has been removed from the talent tree and added to Swipe as a default. Interesting. So new talents: Oak Skin, Survival Instincts, and Bark Skin reduced additional. Nice. New talent: Fluid Form. Shred and Rake can be used in any form and shifts you into cat form. Mangle can be used in any form and shifts you into bear form. Wraith and Starfire can shift you into Moonkin form if known. Okay. Weird. I'm not entirely sure how that's gonna work. Mostly, like, so if you use Shred and Rake and then you go in to use a Mangle and it switches you into bear form, does the bar switch too? And then you have to use another ability to switch yourself back to cat, or back to cat. So you'd have to go back and so I don't know how that's going to work. That's going to be very interesting. Lots of changes, it looks like, to Feral, at least, or Guardian now. I'll forever call it Feral. Balance has got, let's see, 1, 2, 3 new talents, 4 new talents. And it looks like a lot of changes to just damage. Feral has got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2 new. Restoration. 2 new talents, 3 new talents, 4 new talents. Evoker. Honestly, I have yet to play an Evoker. I have one. I have yet to play it. So, thoughts to anybody? Oh, hey, what's up, Godsmack? Welcome. Sorry, man. I'm recording a video. And does pineapple... Okay, so Godsmack apparently wants to know if pineapple belongs on a pizza, and absolutely. 100% it does. Along with that, some good salty Canadian bacon. And then also... Oh, shit. Welcome to the stream. Holy fuck. Thank you, Godsmack, for the raid. Hello, everybody. I am Warcraft Papi. We are going over the Warcraft War Within pre-patch notes. Sorry, I totally forgot to turn on chatter and get my little dings and dongles updated here. But I do appreciate the raid. Thank you so much, sir. How is everybody doing today? All right. So continuing on to the Druid, or no, sorry, we're past the Druid on the Evoker. I have yet to play an Evoker, so I don't really know too much about that other than I do enjoy having them in my groups. I always seem to have a much easier time through dungeons and raids whenever there's Evokers around. So, yay for them. Yeah, I bet, dude. Your trip look really cool, though. But lots of new talents. It looks like their talent tree is going to also be reset. So when you get a chance to log in, look at those. Hunter, I really want to level a hunter. Survival looks really cool now. They have gotten so many changes to their talent trees. There's a lot of new things happening for hunters. So I'm not going to go through the entire talent tree list. One of the things that I do want to point out, though, are just kind of, the amounts of things that are happening with each specs, or with each class, and then just try to get through the notes so that we all can see, kind of the new stuff that's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks, or 4 weeks till the War Within. But it looks like a lot of the changes that are happening are squishing talent trees to make room for new types of abilities. As with every expansion, something always disappears. So it seems like Leech and Avoidance is kind of on its way out, since they are reducing those abilities quite a bit throughout all the classes. I suspect that will be one of the things that kind of goes by the wayside, kind of like resilience and, defense caps and all that sort of stuff. So with that, a lot of improvements happening with the Hunter. Beast Mastery has got several new talents. We're talking about 6 or 7 different talents here. This right here looks really cool. I've seen this on the beta, and to be a Beast Mastery Hunter and having more abilities that are ranged attacks that are outside of just augmenting what you do with your pet, is only going to make Beast Mastery Hunters even better. And I think, if I remember correctly, for one of the damage meter charts shows Beast Mastery pretty high right now. So we'll see how long that lasts. Marksmanship was very low still. I haven't seen much happening with or with marksmanship, mostly because I'll be honest, it's the same flavor over and over again. There's really, only so much you can do with a crappy pet and just firing on your own. That's pretty much the way that it is with marksmanship. It's always been that way to me, at least. There's no kind of flair to it. But a lot of their damage is being increased. A lot of their main core damage, which is arcane shot, aim shot, trick shot, all of those are being reduced or increased in some way to help with the damage. Now, survival. So survival has gotten probably one of the bigger updates to its new talents and kind of just the playability of it. Part of it is to give some flavor to survival hunters that I think that they've been looking for. A lot of that has been trying to get that true like melee hunter vibe going, which I really want Blizzard to get this right, because I've always loved the idea of being able to be a melee character with a pet. And so it seems like that they're on their way to that, while still, having some of that feel for being able to move in and out of range and melee. So lots of new talents. I probably one of the non-tank mains that I'll be doing in the War Within is gonna be my hunter for sure. And I'm definitely going survival. I'm gonna play around with the trees once the patch is done and we can go live, which I don't think is gonna be for another. Let's see here. Yep, we're still down. Dang it. Yeah, we got about an hour or so for that. Let's see, it's 2:30. Yeah, we've got a while. Mrs. Spooky, thanks for the follow. So mages. All the talent trees have been updated, so lots of changes for mages as well. I'll be perfectly honest, I have never had more fun as a mage than in SOD. I loved healing as a mage. I know that they will never do that in retail ever. I think that, SOD is the flavor of the month kind of area for things like that. There are some things that I wish that they would bring over from SOD into retail, because I think that they're just awfully cool. Privilewire, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Hope everybody's having a good time. But with that, Arcane is getting a huge buff this expansion. And so for any of you that are Arcane Mage fans, the War Within is your time to shine, because they are at the moment S tier damage, and probably will be for a while. Just seeing these talent tree specs, lots of changes to, and this is something that I've noticed across the board with a lot of the damage dealing classes, especially the range damage dealing, is that they are starting to work in abilities that are doing more damage to more mobs at the same time. And so lots of AoE tuning for that. But mages are just getting stacked right now with Arcane, and your damage is getting buffed. It's going to be crazy. I think every mage is going to be an Arcane mage. All right, fire. Once again, lots of changes. Mage is the other class that has gotten probably some of the most changes that you'll see within the War Within. I think mostly because a lot of what's happening with the mages is there's a lot of bloat when it comes to abilities, cooldowns, things like that, and while condensing some of that, introducing new abilities and spells, some of that bloat has to be cleared to add new bloat, essentially. I mean, let's be honest, we're gonna have plenty of buttons to push. Frost, on the other hand, has not seen really anything. So if you're a Frost mage and you like Frost, sorry guys, probably not going to be a lot of them around. Monks. Lots of changes for monks. I am actually very excited. I do want to play my Brewmaster monk, and see some of the new changes that they're doing for Brewmasters. I think there's still a lot of fine tuning when it comes to how the stagger effects work, mostly because there still really isn't like true damage mitigation when it comes to monks being able to dodge or parry and then use stagger to kind of take that damage over time. If there's 1-2 shot abilities happening, it's still very hard for a monk to be able to mitigate that damage, because there's not a whole lot of ways for you to mitigate that. Your heals and your flasks are just really not enough in those instances, and so you really see it in higher level normal and heroic raids, when you are not even over geared, just at appropriately geared levels. It's very hard for a monk to be able to mitigate that damage like a warrior or a paladin would be able to. So part of that, I think, is going to be fixed in the War Within, but we shall see. But you can see here, Brewmaster, new talent, Elixir of Determination. When you fall below 40%, you gain an absorb for 50% of the recently purified damage. So this effect in itself is basically kind of like the Brewmaster's version of shield block. You get a little bit of hey Ellen, what's up? Part of the raid. Thanks for coming in. You basically mitigate a portion of the damage that's already happened to you. So essentially, I mean, really all it is just it's the monk's version of shield block. Can occur more than once every 15 seconds, and it and there's a certain amount of damage being taken away or absorbed. Rising Sun Kick grants you a stack of Elusive Brawler. One with the win, you get a 10% chance to reset your Elusive Brawler stacks on a successful dodge. Augment Blessing, when you would be healed above the maximum health, that is amount equal to 40% of your critical chance strike over heal a time effect. That's going to be interesting. So instead, you convert an amount equal to 40% of your critical strike chance to a heal over time effect. I don't know why they're including crit chance into that effect, but the heal over time effect will help out. So it may seem like one of the stats that you want to buff as a Brewmaster is going to be crit at this point. New talent, Ox Stance. Ooh, they're putting stances in there, huh? Okay. Casting Purifying Brew grants charges or stacks of Ox Stance based on stagger level when you take damage that is greater than 60. This is what I was talking about. So damage, like one-shot ability damage of your current health. It charges consumed to increase your amount of stagger. Interesting. Okay. So they're just increasing the stagger level, which I mean, I guess that might help. Along with the absorb shield, you might be able to have both of those up and running at the same time to mitigate that damage. It still feels a little bit RNG-ish, but we'll see how that works. New talent, Black Ox Adept, Rising Sun Kick grants Ox Stance. Okay, so there's multiple ways for you to get Ox Stance then. Heightened Guard, Ox Stance will not trigger when an attack is larger than 40%. Oh, okay. So that might be helpful as well. Anvil and Starve has been updated. So this is what I'm talking about having some higher viability in like higher tiered mythics, being able to mitigate that higher level of damage, especially in places like where the affix is one where it's just bumps insane amount of damage, and so you don't see very many monks at those high levels, which I'm hoping to be able to do at some point at this next expansion. But we'll see. Mistweaver, never really tried Mistweaver. I'm not much of a healer, guys. I'll be honest. I like to stabby pokey and or get slapped in the face. I don't really do the whole like mending thing. Just how I am. Windwalker, I will be DPSing as a monk as well, so we'll see some of this. I am really excited just to kind of go through these new talent trees and see what's going on. Paladin, I mean, what's to say about a paladin? I've leveled a paladin pretty much for the last 15 years. I think I've first started a paladin. Oh gosh, this is gonna age me. My very first paladin was in original Wrath of the Lich King in 2000 and was that 2006? Godsmack, help me out. You're old. You know this. So roughly around the 2006 area. That was my very first paladin, and his name was Duracell. And I love that guy. Human paladin. All paladin talent trees have been moved or locations. I have healed as a paladin though, I'll be honest. It's not bad. What's up, Lexi? Welcome to the stream. All right, so thanks. Glad you could make it. Thanks for watching. So Bastion of Light has been redesigned. You cast your next 5 cast of judgments. Generate 2 additional holy power. Sanctuary has been redesigned. Consecration benefits persists for 4 seconds after you leave it, which is kind of nice because like being tied to consecration sometimes sucks a little bit. Crusader's Resolve has been reassigned. Target struck by Avenger's Shield, deal 10% reduced melee damage. Anything as a tank that reduces your melee damage is always going to be good, and it's always going to be nice to the healers. Strength and Adversity now grants 5 parry per target. Was to wow, that's a huge jump. That seems like a lot. We'll see how that kind of feels like when you're actually doing like, you know, multi-mob pulling. Light of the Titans is now a 1-point talent hero with time percentage over the original value rather than attack power based. Okay. Bulwark of Order is now a 1-point talent. Okay. So Rhett did get a pretty decent change to kind of the way that they do things. So the Divine Hammer that spins around you, consuming Holy Strike to strike enemies within 8 yards of radiant damage every 2 seconds while active. Your holy power generating abilities generate 75% faster. So Divine Hammer is probably going to be one of the de facto DPS things in your rotation now. Just and anything that you can within your talent tree to bump the damage or bump the design of that talent is going to be, I think, one of the meta things that go on right now. Let's see, priests also get a lot of changes. I have never, in 20 years of playing World of Warcraft, have I ever played a priest, which is weird. I just don't. I don't know why. They're cool, but I've never actually played one. But it does look like Discipline's shields are getting better. Holy's healing is getting better. And there was actually, so there was one thing that I think I remember one of the videos of I forget his name, but one of the major creators, I think it was Metagoblin, kind of talked about how Mind Flay is going to kind of change, and that's going to be kind of one of the things that that Shadow Spec uses instead of what they've currently been. I don't know for sure. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm not a priest by any means, but it seemed like Shadow was getting some sort of a change to make it easier to DPS on the move. So rogues, near and dear to my heart. That is where my very first character in World of Warcraft was a little wee gnome rogue. All talent trees have been updated. Shadow Hearth Leech increased by 3%. Acrobatic strikes been redesigned. Auto attacks increase. Movement speed by 1% for 3 seconds, stacking up to 10%. So a 30%, or no, 1% for 3 seconds up to 10. So a 3% movement increase-ish. Cut to the chase is now learned. Yeah, I absolutely and thoroughly enjoy assassination as a rogue. It's one of the like my flavors of rogues that just feel very much on point with what I think of in my mind, in Papi's brain, as what a rogue should be. You have daggers and you're putting poison on them. Like, I know, and that is what breaks my heart, is that they are fucking terrible on the DPS meters right now. It really sucks. And the whole like change with outlaw, I understand the change. I think the whole pirate theme is tired. It doesn't feel like a rogue. Like, swashbuckling should have been its own class, and we should have just left rogues to the shadows and made them stealthy and stabby. Like, I don't need to pull out a pistol as a rogue. I want to be invisible. Like, that's just me. But I do agree with you. As much as I love rogues, they are not looking good for the War Within at all. But lots of changes and damage increases to the rogue playability. So I don't want to rule them out completely as not being able to be one of the top DPSers in, like, you know, a Mythic Plus or in raids, but they've got a long way to go. And where, like, why can't bleed effects just work, like, as a DPS? You know, like, every mythic that you go to, every mythic dungeon, just, it absolutely goes against what bleed effects are supposed to do, because the fights are so quick. You don't get your bleed effects off for the full count a lot of times on some of the mobs. And so, like, that's honestly why assassination is not one of the good DPSers when it comes to mythic rating or mythic plus dungeons. It's just their whole thing is just kind of like, let them die slowly, and you don't want to go slow in a mythic, which is why, like, subtlety and outlaw have kind of been more of the go-to spec for that. But I don't know, we'll see. I love playing them. I'll still play them, and I'll be sad when I play them, but I'll still play them. Shaman Gott's back here. This is all you right here. This is your bread and butter. This is your baby. They're getting a new talent. Stone Bulwark Totem. Summons the Earth Totem at the feet of the caster for 30 seconds, granting a caster shield, absorbing damage for 10 seconds, and additional absorb for 5 seconds, 2-minute cooldown. Have you given up on the shaman? I thought you were like shaman at heart, even though you play ret. Well, it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better, I'll be honest. TTV Baz, what is up? Thank you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, so a lot of these, like, are, from what it looks like, they're removing or adding, you know, 2 or 3 buttons, and making them just, you know, like, they're making them abilities as opposed to just like something that you choose in your talent tree. But that doesn't get rid of the button use per se. Some of them have been rolled into just a part of another ability, and so you do get some of that bloat removed, but you're still getting like a lot of you're still getting a lot of that button bloat, and with all these new talents, it's only going to get worse. Thanks, man. Baz, I am doing well. I am not working for the next 2 days, so I'm going to be hot and heavy in the pre-patch, most likely with Godsmack at some point. But we'll see. I really want enhancement to be something, because I've always loved the play style of enhancement and kind of like the theme of enhancement, but it's never been something that has been very good. Yeah, dude, 16 buttons is a lot. Like I've got a gaming mouse that has what is this, 12 buttons, and I still struggle with some of these classes. Let's see. Enhancement. Maelstrom weapon is now learned and is removed from the class tree. Feral lunge is now learned. Flurry moved from the class tree to the enhancement tree. And then the following talents have been removed. So Windfree, Totem, Focused Insight, and Refreshing Waters. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of macros with shamans. But for Miss Melly Mel, she's got a lot of new talents for her Resto Shaman. So you're gonna main Ret Pally or Prot Pally. What's Mel's plan? What is she gonna main? Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, it's effective though, right? Like the holy priest is looking quite nice. All right. So Warlock, all trees have been moved. This is another, like, I've loved Warlocks since, I don't know, probably I think I've played a Warlock since at least Burning Crusade. I don't think I had one in beginning classic, but Burning Crusade I started PvPing with a Warlock, and Affliction was like Soul Link. Oh my gosh, that was the best. I do kind of want to try Warlock again, because it's been a really long time since I've done that. And I think that, like, as far as like having a ranged caster class, I think I kind of want to get back into doing a Warlock, and now's kind of like a time to do that, just because starting fresh with a new set of revision talents, learning the new metas, that sort of thing. It should come pretty fun, I think. I have no idea what spec to choose. I've always kind of leaned towards Affliction, but Demonology seems like it's kind of pretty beefy too. All of these classes, though, just seem like they have a tremendous amount of bloat with just the new abilities that are happening, because not a whole lot is getting retooled and reimagined into like something different. They're just adding new stuff on top of the old stuff. But warrior is also probably going to be my main tank. I'm still kind of like, do I do brewmaster or do I do prot warrior? I really don't know for sure which one I'm gonna do. I love them both so far. Lots of changes to arms though. Arms is getting a huge damage buff to all of their abilities. Execute damage, slam damage. Slam is now kind of being reverted back to like being that one skill that kind of you need to in your rotation to power other skills. So we'll see how that kind of plays out. But I'm kind of excited to play arms again, just for the simple fact that like there's a lot of core damage abilities that have been increased, and so I think that you'll see a lot of arms warriors topping DPS meters. That's just me. I wish to God Fury would get something that like makes them viable in raids, but we'll never see that, I guess. Maybe prot. This right here is one of the reasons why I want to tank as a warrior, because we finally get a standard damage reduction for magic. Like it's been fucking forever. Like other than like just, I mean, we get abilities like spell reflect and like all that sort of stuff, but there really hasn't been anything that is just a pure reduction in damage against magic. Battle Scarred Veteran has been updated, so it would apply to 30% of your health. Is also reduced to 80, which is that. I mean, this is kind of nice. It's just one of those things where in between your defensives, if you have some damage coming in, it helps kind of mitigate that. Dance of Death has been redesigned. When an enemy dies while affected by your Ravager, your duration is extended by 2 seconds. This effect can trigger maximum number of 3 times. So basically, if you have Ravager going, expect it to last 6 more seconds. That's basically what it's saying. Which is nice because the damage from Ravager is really, really good. So if you have multiple mobs, and I don't think that it is capped by a certain number of mobs like some cleave and some abilities are. Whirlwind based rage cost is reduced. Finally, like it's kind of just it's a rage spender, just like any other rage spender, but the damage didn't seem significant enough to where it was requiring 30 cost to your rage. Like a third of your rage for one ability is insane. But they are reducing the damage output of it, which sucks, but we'll see. Execute damage increased and rend base costs reduced. Again, that's one of those things where it's about time that rend should not cost nearly 30% of your rage. And defensive stance no longer reduces damage dealt by warriors. I'm excited for that. I'm not gonna lie. More damage as a tank. Hell yeah. Immovable objects. Tooltip has been updated and improved heroic throw has been removed. So that's it for the classes. We've got a lot of other stuff happening to some of the items. Most of these are just dealing with like the leveling gear being eroded at appropriate level. DPS items will no longer affect. Reduces with additional effects reduced by 33% for taken healers, and the sell value of elegant canvas brush. I don't know why that's a thing, but whatever. Player versus player. Do we have any PvPers in here? Who is a PvPer? Because if you are, let's duel. Rated Battleground Blitz is 8 versus 8 at accelerated pace. You can queue solo. This is interesting. Like I would love a fast-paced rated battleground. Just because, like, you know, it's fun to have that, like, faster paced. What it would do is it would make rated battlegrounds feel kind of more like arenas. And I think I would like that. All maps now have levers players can click to indicate that they are ready. I mean, that's quality of life should have happened a long time ago kind of thing. Shadow sight now heightens enemies that are stealth with a red outline that can be seen through walls. That is cool, but also not cool when you're a rogue. Death Knight, the PvP talent, now overrides Asphyxiate. Yeah, whatever. Demon Hunter, cleansed by flames, now cleanses one magical effect. Was all. Ooh, that's a big nerf to Demon Hunter PvP. Because nothing like cleansing fucking everything off of you. Now it's only one. Sorry for you. New PvP talent for Druids, Tireless Pursuit. For 5 seconds after leaving cat form or travel form, you retain up to 40% movement speed. Well, that's great. Let's just make Druids even better at carrying the flag, because then they pop out to heal and then pop back in, and they're still running faster than you are. That's great. Let's see here. High winds have been redesigned. Increases the range of Cyclone, Typhoon, and Entangle. Yes, yeah. Let's just make it even easier for Druids to continuously cyclone you for no good reason. All right, Hunter, Mending Bandage now heals for 18% over its duration, was 30. Tranquilizing Darts has been removed. Like, none of these really seem like huge world-changing changes to PvP. But we'll see. I don't know who's Brewmaster PvPing, but I kind of want to do it now. Mistweaver, new PvP talent, Rodeo every 3 seconds, while Clash, I think that's supposed to be is off cooldown. Your next Clash can be reactivated immediately to wildly clash an additional enemy. This effect can stack up to 3 times. Enveloping Breath is now 100% effective. So everybody got Rodeo except for Brewmasters. That's weird. Paladin PvP. Turn Evil has been reduced in cast time. Judgment of the Pure has been removed. Let's see. What nerfs to rogues did they do? Vanish guaranteed stealth duration now 1.5 seconds in PvP combat. Shadowy Duel applies a screen effect, so it is more noticeable that you're inside of a duel. Okay, I mean, whatever. So, Warrior. Master and Commander now reduces the cooldown of Rallying Cry. Battlefield Commander now reduces the radius of Piercing Howl, or increases the radius, and Death Sentence PvP talents has been removed. Storm of Destruction has been redesigned, now reduces healing on an effective target by 25 for 10 seconds. And then Duel duration has been increased by 12 seconds. So really not a whole lot of changes, honestly, to Warriors, other than just kind of like tuning, it seems. Professions, new ability, Concentration. Concentration is a resource that you have a separate pool of per crafting profession. It represents your ability to heavily focus on your recipes and exceed your normal capabilities. You choose when you want to concentrate using a button within the crafting window and powering your next crafts. Doing so will cause the craft to automatically reach the next level of quality, no questions asked. So crafters out there, if you have any insights on this, that seems cool. Mostly like when you want to be able to craft the one item that you want. It doesn't seem like there's any type of duration on this. At least here, there's nothing. It just says empowering your next crafts, but it doesn't say how many or if there is a cap or anything like that. So I guess that is TBD, or it has been determined. We just don't see it yet. New stat, ingenuity. You have a chance to have an ingenious breakthrough when you concentrate on a craft, refunding a percentage of concentration spent. Okay. And then inspiration has been removed. So as you can see, let me switch here to the live scene. Again, the UI has been updated. Oh, shoot. No, come back over to me. All right, ob spot camera. I had you in a certain position and you moved. That's my TV, by the way. Let's come back over here. Let's come back. Come back. Come back to me. Come back to me. There we go. Welcome back. So as you can see, we have a new loading screen. Once we're actually able to connect back, we should see also the new like war bands where you have your top, 5 or whatever characters with you in the screen. So that's kind of the new interface so far. Lots of quest and map navigation updates, meta quests, repeatable quests campaign all have 3D icons now. So once we're able to get in, open up your screen, check it out, see how things look. Objective trackers, they've updated the art on that. Your spell book has been completely changed now. So if you've seen what the beta looks like, it's all like one book for everything. So your spell book, search functionalities, like all that sort of thing is in there. Professions has its own micro menu inside of the spell book. Your mount journal has a button. So there's like a lot of things that are just kind of being redone to solidify the art style of the new UI system. And that's it. This is why this is such a huge update right now, and why none of us are playing currently. Because if you look at all these updates that are going through right now, like that's huge. So we've got a lot to look forward to with the War Within. There's one thing that I am thoroughly excited about is that this new expansion has given me kind of a new lease on retail, which I haven't had for a while. And I'm really excited to kind of get back and push retail to its limits once again. I haven't really done this since Mage Tower Legion days. What's up, dude? How's it going? I am no tough guy. I'm a big fuzzy bear. But come at me, bro. But yeah, so like being able to do kind of like Mage Tower stuff, that was like really my last like focused what am I trying to say? Like last real like push of doing a lot of retail. and so it's been a few expansions since I've done that. So I'm looking forward to going through and progressing and seeing kind of like what the War Within has. You know, seeing it firsthand at BlizzCon, and now seeing kind of like the things that they talked about at BlizzCon happening, it seems a little surreal, but I'm really excited, and hopefully the rest of you guys are too. Thank you so much for watching my video. And if you like what you see, please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. You can also catch me on Twitch. My schedule is right here. Streaming live on Twitch at Warcraft Papi. For the latest news and events happening within Azeroth, follow my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. Once again, this is your Warcraft Papi signing off. Thank you so much.